Command codes verified. Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Hi, captains. Give me a second here. Apparently something changed.
Oh, no. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello. And welcome to the live broadcast recording of episode 520, Where Groove is in the Heart. Groove is in the heart.
Oh my God. Did you ever see that movie Party Girl with Parker Posey?
No,
Oh
I did not. So, thank you all for joining us tonight. We hope that if you were part of the Armada, that the TFO Tuesday was fun for you guys. And I don't know what TFOs were played. I was at work.
What, last Tuesday or tonight?
I thought that was a TFO Tuesday tonight.
Oh, tonight. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't play that.
Okay. So we hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for joining us this evening.
Yeah, some of us have to do this podcast, so can't be doing TFOs.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Zeph, you are indeed on time for once. It is the start of the show today.
Oh, way to go,
Zeph.
Zeph.
Welcome, Zeph.
Hope you're feeling better.
Yes, indeed. So I'm gonna get a little more into this during the intro, but Priority
Grooves
One
in
is
the heart.
hosting a bit of a content creator summit. It's been a long while. I didn't mean to get into that, but it's been a while since there's ever. I mean, the last time there was like a Stowe Podcaster Summit, man, I want to say it was like 8 or 9 years ago, like Podcast UGC and the G&T show, and a whole bunch of us got together on, whatever it was at the time. I guess it was Skype, and had a summit. And during Vegas this year, Alex from Ship Talking Pod and I, very last minute, jumped on for a virtual panel at Vegas that I had submitted and was not going to do because I wasn't going to be there. But lo and behold, it needed to get done, and so we did it virtually, or rather a hybrid kind of panel. But then we got offline and we were like, you know what? I think we can do this, more cohesively, a little more kind of involved with other gaming live streamers and content creators like Zeph, Nick, Piece by Piece, Q, the Q Continuum. So we're all going to get together on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, August 28th, and we're going to have a discussion about community, really, about what everybody is doing to, get through COVID, right? What was done the last 2 years, what the content creators are doing to, keep their minds occupied, keep their community occupied, and yeah, I think it's going to be a really good conversation about general community, from several trusted sources, several trusted streamers and content creators. Kat will be there representing Priority One and the Armada. I'll be moderating. Alex will be there from Ship Talking Pod as well. So she'll return for that conversation. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So remember, mark your calendars, Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, that'll be super fun.
Yeah. All right. Without further ado, shall we start a show? Now I want bourbon. I saw your whiskey glass, and now I want some bourbon.
Yeah, I do have whiskey today.
Shit, I'm gonna go get bourbon. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
Okay, so Roscoe, what's going on in Australia? Is it lockdown still?
In places. I was just going to say it's 11:30 here, so I'm going to have another swig of my strawberry milk.
Strawberry milk.
Yeah, delicious.
Oh.
Yeah. So let's see. New South Wales is in biggest lockdown. They have the largest number of COVID cases at the moment, and it's the ongoing problems with the Delta variant. So that's fun. Victoria is coming second. I'm in Queensland, and we're doing okay so far. There's a couple of cases, but things are going okay. So in terms of COVID, so far so good. Other states faring less well. ACT, I think, still in lockdown. So yeah, if you are in the ACT, good luck. Good luck to you. Yeah. What else is happening? It's really sunny. It's coming to the end of winter, and but it's sunny outside and beautiful. So yes, that's me. And what else has been happening? Oh, I won a Klingon recruit pack for Stowe in some random competition.
Did?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
So I was very, very excited. It got me some extra bank slots and some other gear as well. So that was
What'd you win that from?
I think I won that from the lovely folks at Daily Star Trek News.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So that was very exciting.
Yeah,
so thank you to them.
I actually just had to buy inventory slots the other day because I was so tired of not having enough for this one character,
Mm-hmm.
When they
It's a
changed,
constant struggle.
Yeah, when they changed the Elite Duty pack to like character bound, and it's not as cool if you don't have a million inventory spots.
And I also got, if you play Star Trek Online on console, and you have the premium subscriptions for those consoles, PlayStation or Xbox,
Mhm.
you get occasionally some free rewards. So I play on the PlayStation as well, and got some free 32nd Century phaser pistols and some other stuff as well.
Oh wow,
And
that's nice.
they're Cobalt rewards. So it's a Cobalt
Oh,
phaser.
yeah, we don't get those on PC.
No, you get those for free on console. So saw one of
Oh,
those.
you guys are
Cobalt
lucky.
32nd Century phaser pistols. It's very nice.
All right, what kind of bourbon are you drinking there,
Ugh,
Elio?
it's garbage. It was cheap, and it's garbage bourbon. Zachariah Harris. It's garbage.
Oh,
I should have gotten my wood. I gotta go and get a new bottle of Woodford Reserve. Anywho, shall we start a show? Now that we're all
sure.
Yeah, let's
what do
do
you
that.
call it? Greased up, lubed up. What do you?
Whoa, hey
What is
now.
it? What do you call it when you drink a lot?
Well, what?
Uh,
Hey to
Wet the
Ray.
whistle.
Hello to Ray in the gong. Hello to AJ in the ACT as well. Rain in lovely Canberra. So normal day then. Yeah.
what?
All right, ready?
Just shouting out to the chat.
Let's do it.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
do a show,
Yes,
shall we?
ready. Let's do it.
Roscoe,
Garbage
do
bourbon
the
edition.
cold open, please.
What? Who?
Roscoe.
Me.
Okay.
This week on episode 520 of Priority One, the week belonged to Gene Roddenberry in celebration of his 100th birthday. The Star Trek Online community gets stirred up by some recent changes, and we look on screen to Season 2, Episode 3 of Lower Decks.
Hello, captains. You're listening to episode. You're listening.
Y'all listening?
Hello, captains.
Welcome.
You're listening. Now I overdid it. Jesus. Hello. Off to a
great start.
Great start. Hello, captains. You're listening to episode 520 of Priority One, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast. Your weekly recap and review of all the major news happening in the Star Trek multiverse. This episode was recorded on Tuesday, August 24th, and available for download or streaming on Friday, August 27th at PriorityOnePodcast.com. I'm Elio.
I'm Kat.
And I'm Roscoe.
Did you all have a good week?
Yes.
Good.
Had a fabulous week.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's an excellent Oh, actually, I know.
That's all I got.
All right, that's good. Well, you know what, captains? Before we move on with the rest of the show, I do want to announce that on August 28th, Priority One is hosting a roundtable discussion with Star Trek content creators on the topic of community, right? This has been a very challenging 2 years now. And the point of the conversation is to spotlight what these content creators have done to continue to engage with their audience, how their audience have been able to support them through difficult times and vice versa. And so we're really looking forward to this roundtable summit discussion virtual event. It's happening on August 28th at 3 p.m. Eastern on Roddenberry's YouTube channel. Links, of course, will be in our show notes.
Before we jump into the news, we want to welcome...
We also want to thank...
What are you doing?
Sorry, the segue's weird. We also want to thank, or welcome. We also want to welcome.
We also want to welcome new listeners to the show, and we hope you'll stay in touch. You see, this show is produced by a community of volunteers who donate their time and talents because, like you, they're passionate about what Star Trek is all about.
Sorry, I had to take a drink. So we hope
I
you'll
didn't
get
even
involved.
mention the Matrix at all.
What? We're talking
I
about
didn't
that
even
later.
mention the Matrix Online.
Now that you brought it up.
Oh, jeez. Well,
Drink.
So we hope you'll get involved and be a part of our community. Follow us on social media so you can share your thoughts about the weekly headlines. Join the Armada so that you can experience Star Trek gaming with like-minded Trekkies, or consider joining the team and lending your time and talents to producing this show.
If you happen to find value in the podcast, we encourage you to consider supporting us financially by joining our Patreon family. Visit us at patreon.com/priority1 to find out all the perks Visit us at patreon.com/priority1 to find out all the cool perks we offer for monthly contributions.
Now, let's find out what's been happening in the Star Trek multiverse.
4 minute and 5, please. Cat, if you don't mind. Or Roscoe, whoever wants to do it.
I got it.
Cat's onto it.
04, 05. Okay.
Now, question for you. Groove is in the Heart. Was it released in the 1980s or in the 1990s?
90s.
90s is correct.
94.
1990.
Oh my God!
1990
Really?
itself.
What?
Yep.
Wow! I think I saw them live.
Wow.
I can't help it,
Yeah, with-
hippie. It was on sale, and I was like, let me try it. And now I have to finish drinking it. But it's garbage bourbon. It's garbage bourbon. All right. Shall we jump into Trek It Out?
Sure.
Let's.
All right. So we're starting at, let's do...
I'm assuming you're reading the first thing, and then should I
yeah,
just
we'll go
read the
back and
second
forth.
thing?
We'll go back
Yeah.
and forth.
All right. Everybody reads their thing. Why?
Okay. I'm sorry. So 5:20, please.
Okay.
3.
520
Two.
for episode 520. Oh.
This week, the Star Trek community celebrated
That's all I
what
got.
would have been Gene Roddenberry's 100th birthday. If you've been following the Roddenberry social channels, you will have seen daily quotes from celebrities, writers, influencers, and more, each reading a different quote from Gene Roddenberry. We also reported on the development of a full digital archive of his works. Now this week, it's been announced that a biopic is in the works with Adam Mazer penning the script. Also at the helm of the film's development are Rod Roddenberry and Trevor Roth, who also act as executive producers on all the new Trek series.
Can I ask a question before we continue?
Sure.
Biopic or biopic?
Biopic.
Because it is a biography pick. Sure.
Yeah,
Picture.
I think it goes both ways.
Biopic sounds like
Myopic?
yeah, it sounds like a sight disorder.
I've only ever heard it
I need glasses on biopic.
That's the only
I've
way
heard
I
it both ways. I've heard it both
Mm.
ways.
Well, I'm sticking
Both-
with
both
I'm sticking
ways.
with biopic.
Oh, see, Ken says he's heard it both ways. I think you're fine.
All right, Kat, why don't you take this next part? And then
Oh, okay.
let's go. Take the next 2 paragraphs.
Okay. While we're on the topic of celebrating Gene's centennial, be sure to catch Rod Roddenberry on an interview with Fox 11 Los Angeles. During the interview, Rod explains the point of the Think Trek initiative that has been going through that. Oh, whoops. Oh, sorry. I almost had to sneeze, but now I don't.
Take it from during.
During the interview, Rod explains the point of the Think Trek initiative that has been going throughout the summer, along with some personal anecdotes about his father. And if that wasn't enough, even NASA got in on the celebration by hosting a conversation with scientists, engineers, special guest George Takei, moderated by Rod Roddenberry. They even
reread that sentence. I know the commas are weird, so
okay.
I guess special guest. Yeah. So
Okay. With
yeah.
maybe
Well, it says with
and
scientists, engineers, and special guests. Yeah.
okay. And if that wasn't enough, even NASA got in on the celebration by hosting a conversation with scientists, engineers, and special guest George Takei, moderated by Rod Roddenberry. They even sent one of Gene's quotes into space by beaming the recording out towards the final frontier via their deep space network. The panel is a little over 40 minutes long and spotlights the importance of infinite diversity and infinite combinations for the betterment of humankind.
Yeah, there has been a lot going on over the past 100 days to celebrate Gene's centennial. As we talked about it already, if you follow the Roddenberry social media channels, for the last 100 days, someone has read a quote from Gene Roddenberry. Most recently, Whoopi Goldberg. You had LeVar Burton, of course, and several other actors and celebrities and influencers, which was really nice. I mean, these were short little clips that they recorded on their own and then submitted them. And it was really interesting to see how many people were, willing to do it and so engaged in celebrating his life, Gene Roddenberry's life. And, then on top of that, having NASA send out one of Gene's quotes out into deep space like that, I mean, it just goes to show how much of an impact Star Trek has had on our collective just ethos, right? Just our way of living, from inspiring people to go into medicine and science to us podcasting, little old us podcasting, it's just amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Did you guys watch
I
that
went through
Woman
and
in Motion documentary with Nichelle Nichols?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay. Well, you
Yeah, I have
guys
not
should
gotten into it.
definitely check it out. It's really inspiring. Speaking of NASA and being inspired.
Right.
I'll have to go through and watch the interview with Rod on Fox 11 Los Angeles, because I've gone through it and just written a little teaser of what I think they would say in the promo leading up to the actual interview, and it'd be, "Son of Star Creator wants you to think Trek every day. More at 11."
No, it was actually a really good interview. It was actually, pretty straightforward. The guy turns out, the newscaster turns out, was on an episode of Deep Space Nine, he said. So that was an interesting little piece of tidbit.
Great.
So, yeah. We can move on.
Shall we move on?
We shall.
Okay.
To everyone's favorite subject.
If there's one thing we all enjoy around here, it's drinks.
Salud!
So when Star Trek Wines announced the addition of Andorian and Cardassian wines to its now 6-bottle lineup, we could not be more excited to try them, unless the Cardassian one tastes like hot fish juice. Even if you're just a collector of really cool bottles, the Andorian Chardonnay is a lovely shade of blue and comes in a bottom-heavy clear bottle that is also festooned with a United Federation of Planets metal medallion, while the Cardassian bottle has a little bit more pizzazz. Star Trek Wines stated, quote, "The team conducted a rigorous multi-year search for an original Cardassian Canard bottle, a unique serpent-shaped vessel originally utilized in the 1950s through the 1970s in Europe," end quote. They then rendered those bottles in 3D for accuracy, resulting in one of the, quote, "most fascinating bottles in the galaxy," end quote.
Okay, go ahead and read this next part. And we'll break it up a little bit.
As for the wine itself, the Andorian Chardonnay, priced at $50 US, is listed as premium Chardonnay from... Oh, wait, hold on. As for the wine itself, the Andorian Chardonnay, priced at $50, is listed as premium Chardonnay from Santa Lucia Highlands that's been, quote, aged 12 months prior to bottling and has, quote, delicious notes of citrus, peach, and apricots, end quote. While the Cardassian Canard red wine blend, priced at $60, is described as a mix of Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Petit Syrah, and Petit Verdot, which they say combines into a, quote, dark, rich wine with notes of ripe blackberries and juicy blueberries, velvety tannins, and a long, delightful finish, end quote. I'm totally going to order those. I'm like, sold based on the description.
Wait, you have one more paragraph.
But to be an actual Cardassian Canard...
Wait. We still have one more paragraph.
Hold on.
Hold, please.
Both of these new wines are available for pre-sale at StarTrekWines.com and expect to ship sometime in November, Or if you want to buy the whole 6-bottle collection, what they call the full armada, it's currently available for $299.
Go ahead, Russell.
The consistency of the Canar is a concern, because for it to look like a true Canar, doesn't it have to be quite syrupy? A
don't know.
glugginess to it?
It comes in a snake bottle. Who cares? Really? I mean, you know.
Have any of you had the opportunity of trying any of their wines? And
I haven't tried theirs, but when the Star Trek Experience existed, I totally bought the blood wine and the Romulan ale, and those were really good. The blood wine was really good. I think it was a Merlot, though.
yeah, we order. Roscoe, how about you?
I've mixed blue curacao and vodka and called it a Romulan ale.
That doesn't
and,
count.
You know, just
That's not
died.
the
That's not what
same
this is.
thing.
That's not what this is.
Yeah. On ice, it's fine on ice.
So Allie and I got 2 bottles of Chateau Picard. We opened one. I forget what the celebration was. We opened one. It might have been actually for a premiere, one of the premieres of the new series of Trek. And it's okay. You know, it's all right. It was it was okay. You know, I've also had like their Picard bourbon, not Picard, Kirk bourbon. That too was okay. A little overpriced for the flavor profiles, like for the quality of the wine, in my honest opinion. But not to sound morbid, but we did save the second bottle of Chateau Picard. We're saving that for a sad day.
Oh, no, you aren't. Oh,
yeah,
that's terrible.
I'll let you all try to figure out what this, or you can ask me off air, but we're saving it for a sad day, to celebrate life, right? Not because it's a sad day, but to celebrate the life, you know? Yeah, but hopefully, maybe it ages better with time. You know, we have it, you know, nice and taken care of, and maybe it'll taste better as time goes on. Hopefully, it'll be a long while before we get to open that bottle.
Well,
Looking in the chat, Dave Rutley says that the website confirms they do not ship internationally.
Boo.
Oh, boo.
So
That's so
enjoy
sad.
that.
Sorry. Yeah, I tried to send Roscoe some Texas whiskey, but you're not allowed to do that, apparently. What?
Nope.
I'll take it.
I tried to send you some rum. Nope.
Oh, well, I'll
Cannot
send
be
you some
done.
whiskey. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
All right,
Anyway,
so moving on to the next
yeah,
one.
those wines sound delicious. I'm so getting that.
Now moving on to other merchandise. The team from Topps and Mego Toys, known for their scale figures, have teamed up in the most logical way as part of their ongoing collaboration with the release of the new Mr. Spock 8-inch action figure. Spock is outfitted in his screen-accurate Starfleet Command uniform and accessories as seen in the 1979 Star Trek The Motion Picture. The figure comes complete with phaser pistol, tricorder, and an emotionless logical facial expression. Roscoe, why don't you say Vulcan Nerf Pinch not included?
Vulcan Nerve Pinch not included.
But if your display shelf is looking a little too Federation vanilla, well, it's time to spice up the... What's a Breguet? Is it Breguet?
Breguet lung with some grappock sauce.
All right.
That's what Alexander ate on the
Breguet.
in the mess
Got it. Okay.
of the Rotaran.
But if your display shelf is looking a little too Federation vanilla, then it's time to spice up the Breguet lung with some grappock sauce. Did I get those right? Please tell me I got those right.
Mm-hmm.
The legendary Dahar Master himself, Kor, son of Rhinar, can now be added to your collection in 8-inch figure form. Also, in a screen-accurate uniform and accessory. Also, with a screen-accurate uniform and accessories. This Kor figure is as seen in the 1967 episode of Star Trek Errand of Mercy. Both figures are individually available for $19.99 US. If we don't have anything to
The
say.
core figure looks excellent.
Yeah, that's like 8. That's pretty tall. I don't know. I mean, if it's only $20, I don't know. I do love core. I would get core. Well, I don't know.
Well,
I would get Spock.
these kind of look like old-fashioned toys too, right? Like this is part of the style as well. Not just that the clothing is maybe screen accurate, but like the doll itself reminds me of, 1970s, 80s
G.I. Joe.
figurines. Yeah, G.I. Joe kind of thing,
Yeah.
Where
Stretch
you can
Armstrong.
pull the joints and it's a tiny little rubber band holding the joints
Oh,
together,
really?
like that kind of thing.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
All right,
The Spock costume looks a little bit bulky and bunched up, but the core costume on the figure looks excellent. It's quite well done, and it says on both the pages, these are not toys. These are not toys. These are action figures. These are not toys. So you can't play with them. Says so on the box. Sorry, everyone.
Well, now here are a few headlines that we did not discuss, but we thought might interest you. Links, of course, will be in our show notes. Kat, why don't you take this first one?
Via her Twitter account on August 23rd, Michelle Paradise announces that Season 4 of Discovery has wrapped.
Roscoe, why don't you take this one?
And George Takei will lend his vocals to a Star Wars project in Visions. He had previously voiced a separatist general in the Clone Wars. Takei joins an already impressive English-speaking voice cast, which includes David Harbour from Black Widow and Stranger Things, Karen Fukuhara from The Boys, and Boba Fett himself, Tamura Morrison.
Remember, Captains, to learn more about these headlines, be sure to review the show notes for this episode at PriorityOnePodcast.com.
Well, Captains, that's all the news we have to check out this week. Now let's find out what happened in the world of Star Trek gaming.
Cool. So that ended at 2035, please. Since you guys wrote a lot of these, so I'll let you can. Who do you, about written by Kat, read by Roscoe. Whoa, what the heck? Roscoe.
We could do that.
Written by Roscoe, read by. I'll read this one. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, shall we start some gaming news?
Sorry, I was looking.
Also, welcome to the raid, to the chat.
What's
yeah,
up?
welcome.
We got a nice big group of new and returning viewers.
Yeah.
Coming up, so
Hey,
thank you.
everyone in chat.
Actually, while you're in chat, I want to remind you again, a very quick reminder, that on Saturday, August 28th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Priority One is hosting a panel of Star Trek content creators. Our panelists include Kat from Priority One Podcast and the Armada, Q, Piece by Piece, also known as Nick, Rurin, also known as Alex from Ship Talking Pod, and Alan, Zeph Films, will be there to talk about community. I'll be moderating the panel. And like I said, we'll be talking about community, as how communities support each other during difficult times, what we do as content creators to continue to engage with our audiences, what we share with them, what they may share with us. It's been a rough, year and a half, 2 years, and people have been producing a significant amount of great content. It's been a while since Star Trek gaming content creators got together and did a summit. And so, we figured now
A
was the
Federation
time.
Council, if you will.
A Federation Council, indeed.
Ooh, I like it.
We got a great list of panelists, and we're looking forward to it. It's happening live on Roddenberry's YouTube channel. So just visit youtube.com, do a search for Roddenberry Prod, like Roddenberry Production. And
Seth,
Don't
he
call-
says
don't
he
call
can't
Rod
wait
that.
to watch.
can't wait
What?
to watch. How dare you, Zeph? Here's a link to the YouTube. I'm putting that in the chat right now. A link to the YouTube event page. So you can mark your calendars, make sure to set a reminder, and again, that's happening on Saturday, August 28th at 3 p.m. Eastern. So we hope you'll join us We got a lot of great voices on the panel. All right.
Okay.
So
3
Stone.
p.m.
Wow.
Eastern, you say?
Yes. 3 p.m.
Okay.
Eastern.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's
yeah,
like
okay.
2 in the morning for you or something? 4 in the morning? 4 or 5?
5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
5
bit
in the
early.
morning.
All right, let's do gaming news at 23:50. 23:50. All right, gaming in 3, 2.
The Infinity Lockbox returns and contains an all-new Tier 6 starship, the Mars Pilot Escort Tier 6. Let's try that again. The Infinity Lockbox returns and contains an all-new Tier 6 starship, the Mars Pilot Escort. This ship features a 5-4 2-aft weapon layout, and since it is a pilot escort, it includes a commander tactical / pilot specialist bridge officer seat and a lieutenant universal / intel specialist bridge officer seat. It also comes equipped with a universal subspace cavitation matrix console, which creates a subspace shockwave in normal space that will damage foes out to 5 kilometers from the impact point. This console also provides a passive bonus to current and maximum engine subsystem power, as well as an increase to all weapon damage versus foes within 5 kilometers.
Okay. This ship
Kat.
also. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
All right. This ship also introduces a new experimental weapon, the Subspace Pocket Projector, which is capable of forming localized distortions in subspace that are then propelled to a nearby foe, distorting hull and shields and slowing their ship's ability to maneuver in normal space. Finally, leveling your Mars Pilot Escort will unlock the improved Lock Trajectory space trait. While this trait is slotted, the recharge time of Lock Trajectory is reduced to 0, allowing the ability to be immediately re-engaged after it's turned off, which is pretty nice. Plus, you'll be able to gain a reduction to the recharge times on pilot abilities, cannon rapid fire, and cannon scatter volley whenever you deal energy weapon damage to a foe that is within your forward 90-degree firing arc. And that's only once per 5 seconds.
So, for those of you who may not be aware, Lock Trajectory locks your ship's current flight path and increases the turn rate, right?
Yes.
So you'll fly in just pretty much one direction, right?
Yeah, and you can fire and kind of slide in. Oh man, if you like flying little small pilot escort ships, and you're in to go fast and like hit hard, Lock Trajectory is like something you should. Oh, kind of. If you could always have it slotted, I would. I love that. I love that ability.
So, of all the new 29th, what are we, 31st century? 31st
32nd.
32nd
32nd.
century ships. I think I like the look of this one the most. I feel as if though this ship is the natural progression of Federation ships. So I like the visual style of it. I do like the visual style.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's still got that detached nacelle, super
Right.
modern, look to it. But, I love escorts and I love pilot escorts. So I would, if I was going to save up for another ship, I would probably want this one. But I'm definitely not trying to win it in a box. Because we all
Right.
know how that turns out.
Now, even though it's in a box, it can still be sold on the exchange, right?
Yeah, you can buy it. It'll be like 1.5 billion EC.
Yeah, I'd rather.
Because that's the going rates these days.
Yeah, I would rather convert to EC in some way, shape, or form than
Yeah, I mean,
play the gamble.
to say that like keys are very expensive still. You can sell keys for about last I checked, it was about 9 million EC. So sell some keys, sell some of your stuff that you may have sitting around. You can get
Mortgage
to
your house.
1.5. Yeah, well, do that too. I mean, it does take time to save up 1.5 billion EC, but it is doable. I did it not too long ago, and I just did it, over time.
Right.
Because
I like the design of this ship, the sleekness of it. There's
Yeah.
still something I'm still getting used to the idea of the detached nacelles. When I look at them, I immediately go, "Oh, it doesn't quite jive for me," and that's probably because I haven't spent enough time poring over new starships in the latest season of Discovery and pausing and just looking in detail at everything and how they form up and reading technical manuals or anything like that. So it's still getting used to that, but I like the idea of the recharges, particularly with rapid fire and scatter volley. That sounds excellent. Within 5 kilometers, yeah, the couple of escorts that I have, they just get in and they pack a punch with the rapid fire. So you get in, zoom out, lots of fun. This sounds like it'll add a lot of fun to some very fun flying.
So as we're live streaming now, AJ Biega in the chat writes, "Why so many lockbox ships?" And I think that's a legitimate question that gets asked quite a lot. It's that during these lulls, there seems to be a push for the sell. There seems to be a push for the sales of items, right? And I mean that's going to be the reason, right? That's always going to be the reason, is that they need to be able to keep the lights on. And ships sell. In some cases, the quote-unquote gambling functionality and the purchase of keys and whatnot may generate more revenue for them. But I agree. I agree that
now you can't necessarily call it gambling. I know you did quote-unquote, but you can't necessarily call it that because the bird on my shoulder that is Al Rivera would say you win something every time.
I don't really care about what Al Rivera says about it anymore, especially that in the United States particularly, and Kat, I think you could probably comment to this more than I can, is that, they are trying hard to, lock down the usage of lockboxes in video games, right?
Oh, yeah.
So whether or not it's the black and white definition of gambling, I guess that could be up for debate, but it still triggers the same behavior that gambling does, which is why not just in the US but in the EU, they're also looking at restricting the use of lockboxes in a way that doesn't promote that addiction, quote unquote, that addiction. No,
right.
It really is an addiction.
It's the endorphin rush, that you get from chance-based situations.
Right. So that aside, I agree. I think that aside, I think one of the issues that we are also experiencing is that it's already been a couple of months, right, since we last had a mission, like a playable mission. It's been a couple of months.
People start to get really antsy.
Right.
The game is dying. There's no new content. I mean, and they have all this stuff in the works, and then like next week people will be fine.
Right.
Because they'll announce something and we'll be like, oh, okay.
So I think that if there was a healthy balance between things that go on sale, things available for purchase, things available to be opened in a lockbox, if there was a healthier balance between that and playable mission content, I would imagine that the core player base that have been playing this game for 10 years would be a little less resistant to ships and lockboxes, ships that are, purchasable or whatnot.
But yeah, because it used to be, or at least, I don't know, you guys may feel differently. It seemed like prior to this that the lockbox ships and like the super rare ships were tied to something that still happened in game, even if it was tangentially related. But now we're just getting ships just to get chips, it feels like, because we don't see any of this related content, no matter, it could have been a thin connection, but at least it was related, or there was some reason for that ship to show up in game.
Oh yeah, that's a good point too. Is that a lot of these new ships that did come up had a story link to it to the mission? Yeah, yeah. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but now we just get ship after ship after, but legendary ship, but new skins. Pay. So it just feels like a lot without getting any other content to help tie it together.
And we've had a lot of big packs in years previous, and I'm talking of quite a few years ago with big Jem'Hadar Vanguard packs, with Temporal Operative packs, where we get a whole new armada
Expansion.
of starships. I would love to purchase 32nd century ships in one of those giant packs. I'd be willing to shell out for it, because they're good fun. It's a whole new expansion, and if that's the way one of your characters is going, it helps with the role playing aspect, if that's really important to you, which it is for a lot of players. So yeah, I'd be more than happy to purchase like a giant 32nd century pack of starships outright from the C store, no problem. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I would for sure if
Mm.
it, wasn't insanely priced.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
I'm
the worry's
definitely
always
I'm more inclined to spend money in Stowe when I feel engaged in something, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm engaged in, the next big story arc, right, that has content coming out, I am more inclined to A, obviously spend time in the game, and B, buy the new hotness, right? But when the new
Mhm.
hotness is just released in a box, kind of isolated amongst itself as just as an attempt to generate revenue, I feel disconnected. I feel disconnected from the game, right? And so I'm not as interested in getting these items because there's no inspiration behind it, right? It's just, here's a ship, here buy something, right? I don't know that the blogs that tied it with a story helped in any way. For me personally, but it definitely helped when there was a story going along with it, right? Like, oh, look at the ship that we're fighting alongside in the mission. Now I want that ship. Okay, let me buy it.
Yeah,
For my money, the
exactly.
blogs help when there's no story in game. At least there is a story, a considered story to go along with it, rather than
Mhm.
having no story at all.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you want to tie it together. It helps your immersion.
Right.
I mean, it really does.
Mm.
Like even remember when the Amari ship came out and people are like, "What is barely in one episode?" But still, it was still in an episode, and you still were like, "Oh, it's mysterious." But then you get the Amari, and you're like, "Wow, this is the coolest bridge I've ever seen." And so it has like some cool benefits to it that, yeah. Anyway, we don't see a lot of that anymore.
Well, while we're on the topic of Cryptic pissing off the stands, in an effort to
Wow. You just jump right in there
Just
with
jumped right
all
into it.
that. Dang. God. I mean, it's true
Yeah, it's
because, but like, wow. I mean, yeah, the backlash was instantaneous and fierce.
fuck it, I'm keeping that in. Hold on. Well, while we're on the topic of Cryptic pissing off the stands, I say that incredibly sarcastically, they've provided players with options for their stockpiles of dilithium. A new permanent way to spend it will be added to the game. Should I deliver that again? I feel a little disconnected.
A little stilty.
Yeah, and I'm just going to change one thing
Yeah.
because it has been.
Well, while we're on the topic of Cryptic Studios pissing off the stands, I say that sarcastically, they've provided players with options for their stockpiles of dilithium. A new, permanent way to spend it has been added to the game. In the post from Jeremy Bordicus Cryptic Randall, Star Trek Online's staff systems designer, he explained starting on August 24th, Personal Endeavor re-roll tokens and Admiralty assignment pass. Jesus. In the post from Jeremy Bordicus Cryptic Randall, Star Trek Online staff system designer. By the way, nobody in the chat is a stan. I'm just, you're all, I'm talking about the people who are just belligerent. Flat out evil. All right. In the post from Jeremy Bordicus Cryptic Randall, Star Trek Online's staff systems designer, he explained, starting on August 24th, Personal Endeavor reroll tokens and Admiralty Assignment Pass tokens are available for purchase, costing 2,500 dilithium apiece. This change will appear on console platforms on September 8th. Previously, players could earn the tokens through the respective systems as random rewards. That method has now been disabled. The hope is to balance the game's Zen exchange to a more sustainable level. All right, so I joked that they pissed off the stands. And I'm confused as to why people got so angry at this.
Because they took something away. They took something away. That was free. That's why.
All right. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that, because particularly with the Endeavor system, right? I don't log into the game to play the Endeavor system daily, right? Like I'm not invested in it as a way to satiate the desire of me logging into the game, as would comparatively playing a mission, right? So I've banked up a bunch of these reroll tokens for the Endeavor system. So yeah, I guess I'm a little mad that now those are going away. Perhaps it would have been nice to have, grandfathered in some of those tokens that I had earned. So I can get that.
You still can use the ones you have.
Do you keep the free ones that you've earned?
Yeah,
or do those go
absolutely.
Away?
No, they're not going to take away
No.
stuff you've earned.
Then what the fuck are people so pissed about?
Exactly. The ability to earn them continuously for free, and now you have to buy them with dilithium. But also, you can't buy Zen, and we need a place to put our dilithium. I mean, this is just like one way to try and counteract that whole problem. I mean, I don't have an issue with it, but of course, I also have a fair amount stockpiled too. So.
Right.
But 2,500 dilithium, come on, y'all. You could go get that at the mine in 10 minutes if you wanted to. So it's
do
a
couple of Admiralty missions and you'll probably get that.
Well, I feel like maybe they have affected some of those too, but maybe that's not the case. Or maybe they just took away the ability to earn these things for free. But anyway, of course, people flipped out because you can't get it for free, and now you got to pay dilithium, and oh, how dare you try and fix the dilithium market, terrible people over at Cryptic. Yeah, no, I mean, they're trying to do something about it, and yeah, everyone flips out until they start to think about it, and they're like, oh, okay, maybe this will help.
Now, I want to be clear, because I've been kind of cavalier about this whole thing, right? It's okay to be upset. It's 100% okay to be upset. If it affects you and it upsets you, then that's okay. But who I'm really targeting are people who are just flat out belligerent. I mean, apparently, Bordicus has gotten a lot of personal attacks over this change, right? And people are really brave behind a keyboard. Really brave. But,
in fact, Mike Fadum just posted that people went to other random things in his personal life and started posting stuff. People do not do that. That is not cool.
That is absolutely just wrong. Flat out wrong.
This is their job. I mean, it's not who they are. Just don't do that.
So it's okay. It's all right that it upsets you. It's all right if it impacts you and you think that it's unfair. But again, offer constructive criticism. I am 100% someone who criticizes Star Trek. There's no question about that. That I don't like Discovery, that I didn't like Picard, right? There's just no question about that. But I'm not about to, message Michelle Paradise and tweet at her and curse at her and yell at her and, threaten her, God forbid. Never.
Or turn up to her house.
Right.
Or send her a letter to her home address.
The audacity that some people have. I mean,
So, my takeaway is, look, if you're upset about something, take a moment, think about it. Think about what you could do, what you might be able to suggest to that could be done differently, and offer constructive criticism. But when you go after people, you're just a stan.
Yeah, I mean, give a solution.
I did see one comment
yeah.
that was
Go ahead,
Go
Rob.
I did see
ahead,
one
sorry.
comment that was immediately dismissive of it, the idea, and then said something like, "There's so many other things that they could have done," and that was the comment. It's like, great. What are those? What are your suggestions? And why didn't you put them to Mike Fatum a little while ago when he actually asked for those suggestions? Did you put them to him? Because they put the call out and said, we would like your suggestions for longer term sustainable dilithium sinks to make the game exchange more sustainable. And so did you take the time to give that feedback then, or are you just going to bitch about it on social media?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, while we're talking about social media, we did open it up to some of our listeners on our Twitter page to ask for their opinions on what they thought about the changes to the Endeavor system and the Admiralty assignment pass tokens. So here's what Matt Black had to say on Facebook. Kat.
He says, I think this may be less of a sync than I planned. I have a fair bit of pass
Then
and reroll.
not I planned.
Whoops.
Matt Black, you just got promoted to Star Trek Online developer.
Absolutely. Way to go, Matt Black. Matt Black said, I think this may have been... Damn it. I think this may be less of a sync than planned. I have a fair bit of pass and reroll tokens built up, so I have no incentive to buy for a while yet. I imagine many longtime players do too. This will hit newer players harder. Good point.
Roscoe, why don't you take this one?
Over on Twitter, we got a lot of great responses, like our friend Zeph Films, who said, quote, don't really care personally. I've barely scratched the Endeavour system and my grav wells swallow and blow things up like, well, I do pretty good. Let's leave it at that. Lol. End quote. And a lot of replies agree with Zeph that they don't much need Endeavour or Admiralty tokens. People like Jason Smith, Hippie John, Arturo, Captain BG2301, Zach Caldwell, and Michael Stansel.
And several responses don't seem to think that this is the right dilithium sink. For instance, Duncan Idaho said, not much, but it's a minor economic adjustment and not a swing for the fences update. We haven't had many of these at all in recent years. That buffs dilithium consumption. And it's necessary to work through that development effort backlog to balance the marketplace. One step at a time.
And Jake Teskey thinks they're charging for something now that was free before the real gameplay. Damn it. They're charging for something now that was free before through real gameplay. It contradicts their stated goal of the Endeavor system, which is to entice players to play the game. Horrible decision that won't make a difference in the DIL economy, only alienate players.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's going to alienate players, nor do I think it's a horrible decision. I just don't... I'm not sure who this really affects, like who this impacts so negatively, right? I mean, I think I saw Luke Critter say that he pretty much logs into the game and is very dedicated to the Endeavor system. But even so, I mean, if you're dedicated to the Endeavor system, don't you want to try to get through as much of it and have it all ready? Like, I know it can sometimes be a pain in the butt. Like, I don't often have plasma cannons on me, and I'm like, God darn it. Let me go to the exchange and buy some cheap plasma cannons just so I can get through this. But
perhaps you should set up a new character, a new ult with a plasma cannon build, my friend.
Yeah, I'm like, I go to my plasma character because I have one, but but I hear what you're saying is that, you know, if you're not invested in it, it wouldn't matter to you anyway. But for those that are invested into it, you've been running your endeavors. You've got a bunch of tokens. So again, it's 2,500 dilithium. It is really, I just don't, I'm, with the I'm not that big of a deal camp.
Right.
And something I'd also mention too is Jake says they're charging for something now that was free before through real gameplay. And yes, you get them as rewards, both of those tokens for playing the game. For playing the Endeavor system, you get in the Endeavor reroll tokens. Cool. Now you get access to them through dilithium, which you can earn through real gameplay. So it's just that the method has changed. You can still engage with the game to earn this digital currency that is in-game that can then be spent in-game, which you earn through real gameplay. So it's just a different method.
Victoria in the chat brings up a good point that the Phoenix boxes are half that amount. So maybe they need to adjust the cost of this, right? If a Phoenix box is half of what these reroll tokens are, then maybe the problem isn't so much that they're taking away something that was free and oh no, never mind, it's half the cost. Never mind, I'm wrong. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
Scratch all that.
Yeah, 2,500 dilithium is more than half the cost of a Phoenix box.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it's 4,500. Or if
But-
you buy in packs of 10, they're available for.
Oh,
They have
4,000?
said no, but they have posted that they are, they have realized that people are upset and they are, discussing it internally. So the solution that I think has been proposed is that they just lower the drop rate for the free ones in the Admiralty, system and the Endeavor system. Lower the rate. You can still earn some free ones occasionally, but you can also go buy them, for dill.
But they've removed the ability to earn it for free.
Currently,
right?
yes, they've removed the ability, but they're saying they're considering lowering the drop rate instead of removing it altogether.
Yeah, I would lean more towards that. I think I'd appreciate
I
that
think that's
more.
a good compromise.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they've heard everyone flipping out.
But I wouldn't lower the drop rate to something absurd, right? Like, I
No, I
wouldn't
mean,
go below half of what it is now.
right. So anyway, they're having those discussions right now. I don't think we've heard confirmation one way or the other, but yes, enough people have stated their displeasure with the decision that they're reconsidering.
And the other thing with the Endeavor system as well, if you don't like the Endeavors that are there and would like to re-roll them, but you don't have any re-roll tokens and you're unwilling to purchase re-roll tokens, come back tomorrow.
Right.
Because the
I know.
Endeavors will
they
be
change.
different.
Right.
Yeah,
They
I'm like,
change
don't do them.
constantly.
I mean,
So
if the universal is go play bug hunt, I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to wait till tomorrow because you should just not do that one.
come on, you love bug hunt.
No, I do not.
Roscoe, can you say, well, captains, moving on to other gaming news? Just say that.
Well, captains, moving on to other gaming news.
Captains, you may want to check your email because Scopely is beginning to roll out the desktop beta of Star Trek Fleet Command. Now, I was fortunate enough to get one of these notifications and downloaded the application, installed it on my desktop, and in reality, it's just a desktop version of the mobile game. There is no difference that I could see between my mobile device and what I was playing on the desktop. If you've already used a program like BlueStacks to play your mobile games on your desktop, then this is not going to overly impress you. What has changed is that you can now create a Scopely ID, a Scopely account, which will then sync up your games throughout all your devices. So if you log in with your Scopely account on your mobile phone and then decide to continue playing on the desktop, as long as you log in with your Scopely ID and link those accounts, then your gameplay travels across devices. In my experience, I played it for about an hour or so the other day on my desktop. Again, no big changes that I noticed. The game automatically goes into full screen, and I could not figure out. It took me a little while to figure out how to get out of the game without Alt F4ing it. You can go into the settings and configure it to be in windowed mode, at which point, once you're ready to go, just hit the X on the window and you'll be pulled out of the game. Overall, if you're a fan of Star Trek Fleet Command, check your emails. You may have been invited to try out the desktop version of the game. We can move on.
Oh, we have more?
No, that's it. You can sweep us out.
That's it.
Oh, is that I already closed the document. Whoops, my bad. Sorry. Hold on.
There's ground in Fleet Command?
There is?
All ground
I don't know.
is hella good is what Victoria said.
Oh, they're all still giving me crap about Bug Hunt.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Because you love it.
Ugh. That's the news from Trek Games this week. Now let's look on screen for the latest episodes of Lower Decks.
All right, 5408, please. 5408. All right, captains, I hate to tell you, but we're not going to be able to record on screen in front of y'all, so we're going to wrap up the show. So,
Aw.
closing at 5425, please. Closing at 5425.
Whoops.
Well, that wraps up episode 520 of Priority One, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast. But there are more great shows available to you on the Roddenberry Podcast Network. Just visit podcasts.roddenberry.com for a complete list. Then be sure to subscribe to them all and share them with your friends.
But we can't forget to send a special thanks to some of our Patreon supporters like David K. Rutley, Peter Archibald, and Gerald Bosch.
Captains, it's important to us that you get your voice heard and that you participate in the conversation. Leave us a comment on our website at PriorityOnePodcast.com, on our Facebook page at Facebook.com/PriorityOnePodcast, or find us on Twitter and Instagram at PriorityOnePod.
This episode of Priority One is brought to you by our patrons through Patreon.com. Captains, during these difficult times, we are humbled by the continued support of our patrons who find value in the content we produce each and every week. Find out how you can support the show by visiting patreon.com/PriorityOne, and there you'll also find what rewards we offer for your monthly contributions.
And don't forget to tune in to Priority One Productions' Guard Frequency podcast at guardfrequency.com. Each episode, The Guard will take you inside the universe of your favorite space sims, including a tabletop adventure played out by your hosts. And Heroes Rise brings you up to date with the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Learn all about the latest publications, tools, tips, tricks, and traps in less time than it takes to skin a wyvern. Head over to heroesrisepodcast.com to discover their secrets.
Thanks to our audio editors, including Gray, Brandon, William, Daniel, Rand, Alex, and Lennon. Thanks to our producer, Jake, and associate producers, Shane and Thomas. Together, they help us organize and write up our summary of the weekly headlines from the Star Trek multiverse. Thanks to our graphic artist, Alejandro, with support from Jason of the Priority One Armada. Thanks to the composer of our theme music, Chris Watts. But most importantly, a big thanks to you, the Star Trek community, our listeners, because without your ongoing support, none of this would be possible. 5702, please. 5702. All right, captains, that's a wrap for episode 520 of Priority One. We want to thank you all for being a part of the conversation today. There was a great turnout in the chat today. We're so very thankful for all of you who participated in the conversation and offered your thoughts and opinions. We love to hear them, so thank you all so very much. This episode will air on Friday. The edited version will air on Friday on PriorityOnePodcast.com or wherever you get your podcast. And don't forget that on Saturday, August 28th, this Saturday coming up, Priority One is hosting a Star Trek content creator and live streamer summit. Roundtable discussion to talk about community, to talk about this last year and a half and the craziness. And we're joined by some phenomenal panelists. including Kat from the Priority One Armada and host here on the show. Q, Rurin, a.k.a. Alex from Ship Talking Pod. Alan, Zeph Films will be joining us there, and Piece by Piece, also known as Nick. So these are people who continuously live stream Star Trek Online or produce content that surrounds Star Trek gaming and Star Trek Online, create art, and share their art with the community, and we're really excited to have this conversation with them. So that's at Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I put the link in earlier, but I'm going to do it again. Hopefully it's saved in my... Nope.
Oh, Z, I see you in chat. No, we're not talking about whatever that is that you want to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
No.
All right, captains, until next time, next week, see you later. Say goodnight, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.